How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Positive Mindset Podcast, where we come together to raise our vibration, lift our perspective, and build a positive mindset. My name is Henry, and I'm so thankful to have each and every one of you here because in this episode, we're going to talk about expanding positive energy. If you want to feel it within you, if you want to experience a life of positivity and see it flow through you, this is the episode for you. But before we get started, we're going to take a few moments to slow down, zero in. We're going to take some deep, healing, meditative breaths to help us align on the frequency that we want in our lives. So pick a word. It could be love, joy, happiness, abundance, whatever frequency you want. And we're going to take a deep breath in. And as you're breathing in, you're going to say this word over and over and over again. Really charge yourself up with that energy. And then as you're holding your breath, visualize yourself doing something in that frequency. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath in. And out. We're going to take another deep breath. This one's about alignment, about getting ourselves in receiving mode so we can receive the message that we need to hear to get us in that positive state. So just imagine that you are surrounded by the most healing, uplifting energy that's meant specifically for you. It could have a certain color, a certain taste, a certain smell, however you imagine it. And when you breathe it in, it's going to charge you up. It's going to break down the negativity, the blocks, the weight, everything that's just been holding you back. And once you exhale, anything that no longer resonates with you will leave you and you'll be in a more positive state. So let's go ahead and take another deep breath in. And out. So to understand this message, you have to understand a little bit how everything works for me. When I work with a client, one of the things that I tell them is message me as much as possible. It's why I love when people comment on the podcast or people message me on Instagram or email, all those things. And I try to get back to everybody as much as I can. But by doing this, it keeps me in a flow state. So something that might seem as a bother to ask me a question, to get my perspective on something, especially with my clients, like during the week, it's actually the opposite of that. Because when I do it, I'm tapping into the higher space, the higher frequency. And then by speaking it, by giving that information to you, it flows through me just as I do the podcast. So the more that I do it, the more I stay in alignment with self. When I stay in alignment with the frequency, the more I give it, the more it flows through. The same is true for you. You see, if you want to expand this positive experience, if you want to move it into a deeper level, you have to start embodying and speaking the way you're thinking. A lot of people, they'll listen to this podcast and they'll hear a message that resonates with them, something that makes a difference, which is wonderful. I love that. And so their next step is then to share it with somebody, which is great. I love it when people share the podcast. It's an amazing gift because I don't share anything with anybody that I don't find extremely valuable because I respect their time. I respect my own. And so when I give somebody something, to me, it's a reflection of me. So when you share this podcast, it's a reflection of you. So I appreciate it so much. But the next step is embodying the things from the podcast or all the things that you're reaching, this version of yourself that you're trying to build, this mission that you're on, this expansion that you're going through. If you continue to do it, if you continue to move forward into the degree that's possible for you, people will come to you and they'll start asking you, why do you have more patience now? Why do you have more money now? Why are you healthier now? Like whatever it is that you want to work for, they will come to you because you're the embodiment of what it is that you're trying to become. That's the true way I want to expand. That's the true way you expand. They say to know and to not do is to not know. So when you share something, I appreciate it. But when you embody it, you truly know it. So when you find a lesson, when there's something that you listen to, whether it's this podcast or anything else, focus on that. Take one thing away and really work on it to own it. For me, it's been the mindset. This Positive Insight podcast has been 4 years in the making of understanding mindset and what that means to me, and then using that to not only help myself, but help others. See, I believe, and this took years, this took probably 3 years of going into this to understand what mindset meant to me, what a positive mindset is. See, I separated the words mind and set. Mind is the filter in which we experience this world. If your mind starts messing up, your filter in this experience starts messing up, it starts to not make sense. If your mind is not clear, your experience is not clear. If your mind is altered, your experience is altered. So the mind is the lens. It's the way that we experience, it's the way we perceive and receive this experience. Set. That's the frequency that your mind is set on. You can control that. You see, your frequency is what you frequently see. So your thoughts and your actions and the things around you indicate the frequency that you're in. But what you focus on expands, meaning what you focus on goes to. So what you start focusing on, the certain things, whether it's new thoughts, putting positive thoughts in your mind, positive I am statements, affirmations, all of those things. And then the actions that align with those things, if that's what you're doing, if that becomes your life, if you obsess over those, if you vision those over and over and over, that's what expands in your life. So by doing that, you can move your mind and set it on whatever frequency that you desire. It's set on a frequency now. It's probably set on the patterns of your history, patterns of your parents, patterns of your grandparents, of your aunts, your uncles, your family tree. That's where your frequency is probably set. That's why you're here to change it. So think about this. Think about becoming someone that really spreads the word. And this isn't my word. This is energy. This is something that I've dialed into, that I've studied and tried to tap into and then share. So it's not mine. You're not sharing my word. You are sharing the universe. You are sharing the frequency. You're sharing your understanding. And so when you move forward, become the embodiment of it, so that where people come to you and ask you, what are you doing? Instead of when you tell them, hey, I heard this really good podcast. I read this really good book. I watched this really good movie, and I think you would like it. But then they look at you and they're like, yeah, but you didn't apply any of it. And you might think, well, I am on the inside. This is a long-term game. We don't want a solution today. If you're desiring a solution today, I know if you're hurting, if you're in pain, you want that to stop, but that's not the solution. The solution is always becoming, because as you become, that's the frequency that you're on. So if you want to be a NASCAR driver, I don't know why that came to me, but say you want to be a NASCAR driver, you want to drive in the biggest races in NASCAR, you better love to drive. Because somebody that's doing that is driving all the time. They don't just get to drive the big race. They're driving all the time. They're studying driving. They're practicing driving. They're training for driving. They're obsessed over it. You see, if you want to become this positive mindset individual that sees the good in everything, you can't only do that when life is good. You have to be that now. And you have to love that now. You see, that's where people get confused. They think when they get to the place, when they get to the thing, when they achieve the result, then they'll feel the results. That's not how it goes. You're not going to feel the feelings then, because there'll be new challenges. There'll be new hurts. There'll be new pains, new letdowns, new obstacles when you get there. You have to become it. In fact, you get to become it. Now, you're not going to become it today. Belief has to happen. Belief happens when you do something repeatedly, whether it's hard, whether it's easy, whether it's rainy, whether it's sunny, whether it's snowy, whether it's difficult, whether it's expensive, whether it's free. When you do it repeatedly, no matter what, then you believe. If you think great things about yourself, if you think that you are the whatever, and then when you're tested, you show up as whatever, meaning you don't necessarily get the result. And here's an example. Say you say, I'm the healthiest person on the planet. I'm so healthy. My body's so strong. My body's so fit. I am healthy. I am healthy. You say that over and over and over. But every day you wake up, oh, I'll work out tomorrow. I'm not doing my exercise today. I'll do it tomorrow. What do you think the universe is going to do? It's going to keep you. It's going to say, oh, they like that dream. They have a really powerful dream. Let's make sure it stays a dream. We're not going to move forward. We're not going to clear the way. That's not who they are. They're the person that likes to rest. Or you go to the restaurant. I am healthy. I'm the healthiest person on the planet. My body's so fit. My body's so whole. My body's so well. And then you order the fried chicken. You order the foods that aren't in alignment with what you want. And you think, oh, it's just one meal. And maybe it was just one meal. But it's not. It's a pattern. And so you act out of alignment, then you think you're going to receive out of alignment, then you think, because you have to have belief. You believe, you receive. You receive what you believe. If you don't believe you're the greatest and you don't show up as the greatest every single time, then it won't happen. You can't be delusional in your belief because delusion is believing it without concrete action, without showing up every single time. You see, when you're delusional, you think you're doing the work, but you haven't done reflection. You can't be delusional if you have true reflection. If you truly reflect on self, you can't be delusional. Belief without reflection is delusion because you're not in alignment with who you are. You're not really understanding, are these actions for me? Are these actions in alignment with my thoughts? So create a different purpose for yourself. Don't just think about, how do I heal? How do I move my mindset? How do I get to this positive space? That might be your starting point. But how do I show that I'm there? How do I show the universe? See, it's not about showing people. It's about, how do I show the universe? How do I show myself that I'm these things? Well, you show up as it when it's difficult. You show up as it when it's hard. You show up as it when you don't want to. That's how you prove it. Then you become the example. And then no longer it's like, hey, here's a podcast that can help you. It's, hey, watch what I do. Listen to my thoughts. Hang around me and you'll find out if you want to be this thing. You see, people love a podcast episode. 10 to 12 minutes of mindset. Do you want to be around this 24/7? Do you want to be in a place where your mindset's going to be challenged because you're going to be around somebody that doesn't think the way that you do? It's not comfortable. Boundaries will be put in place and you won't be able to be there unless you change your mindset too. So become the thing. Don't just share it. Own the thing. Don't just borrow it. Embody the thing. Don't just stream it. This is your path. This is how you rise up. This is how you become the rising tide that lifts all ships. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode was impactful and gave you a different perspective on whatever it is that you're going through. I appreciate everybody. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single episode, make sure you subscribe to my email list. There's a link down below. It will keep you up to date with every single episode. And if you want to follow me on social media, there's my Instagram and TikTok down below. I appreciate all the follows there. I do have a few more spots left in my Entrepreneur Mindset Program. Now, this is a unique program. This is for somebody that has a business, that wants to shift their mindset, but also apply that to the business so that they can see the ROI there. If you know that there's something within you that just needs to be locked or unlocked so that you can move forward, so that you can see the game differently, so you can expand differently, this is the program for you. Now, this is I'm looking for very select individuals. I appreciate all of you that have reached out, those that we ended up working together. It's wonderful. I'm loving working with you. And those where it wasn't the quite fit right. I do have more programs that should be opening up soon, so we'll follow up about those as well. But if you want more information on that, the best way to reach me is either Instagram or the link down below. I appreciate everyone that has filled it out. Thank you so much for support. Have a great day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.